Let's break it down. The latest US jobs report just landed, late, and it paints a very strange picture. Barely any new jobs, the highest unemployment rate in 4 years, and retail sales that are basically flat. I'm Imran, a Middle East-based analyst who follows global economics, tech, and politics. In about 3 minutes, let's walk through what these numbers actually say, what's really going on underneath, and what it means for the US economy going into 2026. If you like clear, simple breakdowns like this, make sure you're subscribed and tap like. It genuinely helps the channel grow. First, what do the headline numbers actually say? The US added about 64,000 jobs in November, which technically beats economists' expectations, but only just. That's a very small number for a $27 trillion economy. At the same time, the unemployment rate has climbed to around 4.6%, the highest level since 2021. And here's the twist. This report had to do double duty. Because of a 43-day federal government shutdown, the October data came out late too. That October report showed the US actually lost around 105,000 jobs, driven mostly by a mass drop in federal employment. More than 160,000 federal jobs disappeared as Trump-era cuts and delayed resignations finally hit the payrolls. So if you zoom out, the story since spring is not strong job growth. It's more like stalling. Since April, total employment has barely moved. The labor market is cooling, not crashing, but the era of huge monthly job gains is clearly over. Quick pause. If this kind of context helps you cut through the headlines, please hit subscribe and like the video. A lot of you watch regularly but aren't subscribed. It's free for you and it really helps me keep doing these breakdowns. Second, which parts of the economy are still hiring and which are hurting? Even in a cooling job market, some sectors are growing. Healthcare added roughly 46,000 jobs in November. Clinics, hospitals, nursing homes. Aging populations don't care about interest rates. Demand here is structural. Construction added around 28,000 jobs, especially in non-residential projects. Think data centers, factories, infrastructure, not just houses. On the other side, federal government employment is still shrinking. Another small decline in November after that huge October drop. Since January, federal payrolls are down by more than 250,000 jobs. Transportation and warehousing, which boomed in the pandemic era, has been losing jobs this year as automation and slower goods demand hit delivery and logistics. Wages are also sending a weak signal. Average hourly pay in November barely moved, up around 0.1% month on month, and annual wage growth is slowing. That's good news for inflation, but bad news if you're hoping your paycheck will finally catch up to prices. Third, where do retail sales fit into this? The same batch of data showed US retail sales for October were basically flat. No big collapse, but no strong growth either. That's slightly weaker than economists expected. What does flat retail sales mean in real life? Households are still spending, but more carefully. Higher borrowing costs, student loan repayments, and persistent prices are forcing people to prioritize essentials. Big-ticket discretionary items, cars, electronics, furniture, feel the squeeze fastest when confidence dips. So you have a job market that's losing momentum and consumers who are no longer in spend-like-crazy mode. That combination is exactly what central banks watch when they're deciding how much to cut interest rates. Fourth, what does this all mean for the Fed and for 2026? The Federal Reserve has already cut interest rates 3 times in 2025, trying to balance still sticky inflation with a clearly weakening job market. But even inside the Fed, there's a split. Some officials want to cut more to protect jobs. Others are nervous that inflation isn't fully under control. This new report does 3 things at once. The higher unemployment rate pushes the Fed toward more cuts. The small positive job growth tells them the economy isn't falling off a cliff yet, more like a slow fade. The flat retail sales suggest households are cautious, but not in full panic. Put together, it supports the idea of a soft landing that is maybe a bit too soft if you're a job seeker. Growth is still there, but the labor market has lost its heat. So let's break it down one last time. The US added a modest number of jobs in November, but is still digesting a huge loss in October. Unemployment is at a 4-year high, and the labor market has basically gone sideways since spring. Retail sales are flat, signaling consumers are no longer powering explosive growth. The Fed is stuck in the middle, cut too slowly and risk a labor slump, cut too fast and risk another inflation flare-up. For workers and households, the message is simple. This is no longer the roaring post-COVID boom. It's a slow, uncertain grind where job security, skills, and bargaining power really matter. I'm Imran. This is Imran Breaks It Down. If you found this helpful, please subscribe, like the video, and share it with a friend who keeps hearing jobs report, but doesn't know what it actually means. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Does this feel like a soft landing or the start of something worse? We'll keep breaking it down together.